today I'm going to share my top 10 tips for success for musical artists. What are you going to say?
And my opinion on those top 10 tips.
Yes.
Because I have an opinion on everything.
Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a little while. Well, no, not really.
For me it has.
For her, it has.
Rude.
Decided to bring the wife on.
The old ball and chain.
So today we're going to talk about my own personal tips for success for up and coming artists. This is especially, I feel, relevant if you're younger. There's a lot of good, talented artists out there now that are in their like teens, early 20s. I mean, this is good. I feel good advice for anybody. A lot of it's based on my own personal experience going through it.
I don't have the experience, but I do have an opinion.
You have an opinion on pretty much everything.
I do.
I can't help but think about certain things that I've experienced in my life. So let me give you an example of things that have happened to me that have helped to mold my views.
You met the love of your life, like that? Or we're talking strictly musical?
Music.
Because let's be honest, ever since you met me, your music has gotten better. Coincidence? I think not. I think I'm your muse, and you don't even realize that.
That's debatable.
Why? It's because you haven't realized it.
When I think back to a lot of the mistakes I made as a musician, up and coming, I have plenty of stories. But let me give you an example of one thing that comes to mind. I feel like you have something to say for everything, so
you're giving me the time to have an opinion.
I almost feel like it's natural to pause.
You should. Thank you. I really appreciate that pause.
Back in the day, we had the opportunity to work with this producer. His name is Steve Kravac. Steve Kravac is known for producing Blink-182, MXPX, a couple of other really good bands. We worked with him, and everything led up to this showcase that we were doing for record labels. I remember rehearsing. We had a rehearsing room in LA, and he came in and he heard our set, and he was like, "You're gonna play those songs?" And I was like, "Yeah."
What do you mean? Those songs?
Yeah, I was just an arrogant musician.
Seems like the wrong word.
I'm not arrogant, I'm confident.
Oh, excuse me.
I remember he had his opinion on the set list that we should have played, and I had my opinion. And him being older and wiser, I should have listened to what he said. Now, again, I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, but without getting into detail, I just remember now in hindsight, looking back, not listening to him.
If I knew then what I know now.
If I knew then what I know now, I would have listened to him. Not playing the set that he suggested could have paid off in the long run for us in a better way.
You mean playing the set he suggested? You said not playing.
Not playing. Oh, yeah. Playing the set he suggested would have paid off dividends later on.
Dividends.
But again, I was an arrogant musician who thought I knew better. That's kind of just an example of things that when I look back, I'm like, wow, if I would have done that differently, the outcome may have been better. With that being said, I want to get into what I feel and I strongly believe are my top 10 tips for success.
10.
Actually, let's make it 11.
Can we still name the video top 10? Because top 11 is kind of...
Okay, the first one's not...
11.
Okay, I'm not going to include the first one as a tip. It's just going to be a general piece of advice.
Okay.
One of the first things that I feel super important is you have to, as an artist, if you're in a band, as a band, you all need to determine together what is success. What does success mean to you? As a good example, I remember when I was like 13, 14 years old, to me, success meant that I got to play the Whiskey A Go-Go in Los Angeles.
The what?
The Whiskey A Go-Go, it's a club, is well known for hosting some of the world's greatest artists. And growing up, it was like, the way I saw it is if you got to play the whiskey, you made it. That was success.
What if you play with whiskey?
You could do that too. It was honestly only within a couple of years that I achieved that. And when I got to play there, it was like, this is cool, but at the same time, it's not.
You're like, I can die now.
No, I was
done.
just like,
success achieved, I'm done.
Quite the opposite. I realized that was it was a good goal, but definitely was not a success. It was like, cool, I got to do this, but what was all the hype about? So know what success means to you.
Why do you act like that?
What are you gonna say?
Well, it's actually, that tip goes with everything, not just music, like in life.
Mm-hmm. But we're talking about music.
I know, but I was gonna say, it's not just a music tip. You can use that for your life.
Yes. Number 10.
10.
And I guess it kind of ties into number 11. Make a plan. It's super important that you make a plan. Perhaps this is the educator in me. It's called a SMART goal. When I was a teacher, I used to make SMART goals with my students. When I was an administrator, I used to make SMART goals with my employees and my teachers. A SMART goal is something that
It's smart.
it's measurable. It's something that you shoot toward and you can set a timeline. Okay, this is our plan. This is our roadmap. You're gonna map it out. You want to set these deadlines and you want to set these time frames for yourself. Otherwise, you're just kind of pissing in the wind.
Sounds fun.
Not when the wind's going that way.
Well, it's your own golden shower. You be independent. You do you.
Number 9, and I feel that this is one.
9.
This is one of the most important, even though it's number 9. This is crucial because a lot of artists do not get this. And even when they get this, they do it wrong.
Get this.
Your band is your business. For so long, artists have held on to this idea that you're going to be performing somewhere and somebody's going to come along and they're going to grab you, not physically, and
Although you do get grabbed a lot, is what I've heard.
they're going to grab you up and they're going to give you all this money and they're going to help you and boost your career and make you who you are. You probably have a better chance of winning the lottery than having that happen. And
So you mean the big break is not real?
it's rare, very rare, especially today, especially because of so much competition, social media, and record labels have had to restructure and change so much. Even with the pandemic, it's even harder now. So when you think about your band or your music, it has to be run like a business, which means you need to learn how to start a business, take classes or something, or figure it out.
And you gotta spend money to make money. Am I right? It's mostly what I know about a business.
Yes.
Oh, look at me knowing things. I haven't even had a musical career and I know things.
Number 8.
8.
Things like GarageBand have really made everybody in the music industry
A
in
professional.
terms of artists think that they know how to record. Make a very good recording. Learn how to record. Either understand the fundamentals so you can make your own music and make quality music, and I mean good music, good quality sounding recordings.
So not from your iPhone.
No, if you don't have the time or the money to learn how to record, find somebody that knows how, somebody that can produce your music and give you that quality. Sometimes it's going to cost money, but again, like you said,
You gotta spend money to make money.
exactly.
Get your P. Diddy to your Biggie. Get you Dr. Dre to your NWA.
Would it be more like Eminem?
Well, he also made the...
He was part of the group.
Okay, get you your Dr. Dre to your Eminem.
Number 7. This is kind of a 2-in-1.
Oh, 2-in-1?
Yes.
Oh, 7.1 and
Because they kind of
7.2.
happen at the same time. Network. And one of the best ways, the second piece of that, to network is by performing. You meet people when you perform. Now, does that mean that that's the only time you're networking? Absolutely not. Networking, the same as a businessman, I've always networked. As an artist, you have to network, create those relationships with other people.
Does it have to be only people in the music industry?
No, anybody.
Anybody?
And everybody. And here's one of the things that happens to some artists and even just people in business in general. Networking does not mean being a used car salesman where you're going out there and you're trying to sell something. No, networking is building relationships. And it's never about going into it with, what is this person going to do for me? That's the worst mentality you could have. It's really about just going out and making relationships with people, and eventually things unfold. Sometimes you gotta help 10 people out however you can before somebody throws you a bone. As soon as I say something, I know automatically. You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Wink.
Number 6.
6.
Be influenced, but don't sound like you're influenced.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of artists out there that love a certain band or a couple of bands, and then you listen to their music and they sound exactly like that
Like a ripoff.
band. Yes. Just because you like them doesn't
mean you're them.
or you need to, you don't need to sound like them. Take that influence and figure out how you can take the essence of what they are and make it your own.
And I know you do this, you say this a lot with Billie Eilish, right? Everybody wants to sound like
Oh
her.
yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
I know, I make them. I make good points.
When I turn on the radio, and these are artists that, they're doing well because they're on the radio, obviously, but you can tell that they're living in the shadow of Billie Eilish. If you guys go back a few videos a couple of years back, I did one talking about how I felt that Billie Eilish was going to be the next big thing. And the reason why I felt that is because I felt like Billie Eilish was doing something that was very different. Not to toot my own horn or anything,
But you love to toot your own horn.
but I was right, and I'm very proud to say that she really blew up and has really become a force to be reckoned with. But here's the problem. Everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. It sounds like she has spawned a bunch of little baby Billie Eilishes.
So since we talked about Eminem, it reminds me of that Eminem video. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Oh.
And then there was a bunch of
Yeah.
guys that look just like me and dress like me and sound like me, but just ain't me. I'm Slim Shady, yes I'm the real Shady. All the other Slim Shadys are just imitating.
There's only gonna ever be one Elvis Presley. There's only gonna be one Led Zeppelin. There's only ever gonna be one
There are so many Elvis Presleys when you walk down the Vegas Boulevard.
Metallica, one Pantera, one Nirvana, one, give me Whitney Houston, one Eminem. Be influenced, but don't sound like your influence.
Ooh.
Number 5,
5.
learn marketing. A big part of that business is understanding and knowing marketing. So learn marketing or find somebody that knows how to do it and have them do it for you. Again, you might have to pay them, but
Which goes back to, what did we say?
I asked you to say it.
What?
To spend money to make money?
No. It goes back to, well, yes, but also making those relationships, making those connections.
I guess so.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, like you meet somebody and they're like
Networking,
a
yes.
marketer and you're
Yes.
like, hey. Yeah,
You're a marketer. I need somebody to market me.
good point.
I know.
But you just like need to tell me because I have no idea what you're talking about half the time.
It was one of your points, Paul.
Number 4.
4.
If you are not an independent solo artist and you have a band or you're a duo or a trio, whatever, be equal. Make sure that everybody is pulling their own weight, and if they're not, make sure that that reflects in when it comes down to percentages and revenue. I love all the people I was ever in a band with.
Do you?
Well, not all of them, but one thing that, and this might ruffle little feathers,
Ooh, ruffle them.
including Mr. Adrian, who I love to death.
Ooh, ruffle his feathers.
One thing that I always bothered me is I always felt like I took the lead of our projects and I found myself doing everything. I was doing the business. I was writing the songs. Not all the time, but some of the time. I was recording them. I was working on the marketing.
I love this hot tea. Love
And it's
it.
no
Feel
offense
it.
to anybody at all. It's no offense to Adrian either.
I feel like it's very
No,
much an open.
No. It's just something that I learned that, and I didn't mind. It's kind of like when I was in college and you had like a group assignment. I was always that one where it was like, there was 5 of us or whatever, and there's an assignment due in 2 weeks. I was the one that the very next night I was working on the assignment, and then I saw that nobody had the ambition to do it, and they wanted to wait till the night before it was due, and so I would just be like, you know what, forget it. I'm just gonna do everybody's part because I just want it to be done, and I want it to be done right.
And that's one of the qualities why I married you. Because I know that you will pull both of our weights. I love
sure it's equal.
having my weight pulled.
Number 3, and this is something that I've
3.
seen a lot. Do not burn bridges.
Those bridges.
Not
Don't burn
there's
them.
always going to be tension. Not everybody's always going to get along. Things are going to happen in your career. But burning bridges, even if it's somebody that's not significant at that moment, they might be significant later on. And I've seen this happen many, many times. I've had many people burn bridges with me. I don't think maybe I've burned a couple of bridges and
You burned my bridge.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either, but I feel like we burned a few here.
But I've seen where people burn bridges and just have a hard time.
Crossing back over. What do you do it in a raft?
And that goes for any industry, not just music. Just don't burn bridges. Just be cool and people will like you and just whatever.
Put those matches away.
Number 2.
2.
This is huge. This is huge. Be consistent. A lot of artists are not consistent. They get this like wild hair up their ass and they work really, really hard and then they get burnt out. They don't put the same effort in. It's all about really not giving up. If you're consistent, you don't let things bring you down. You just continually move forward and you stay consistent and true to what you're doing. You'll find that that consistency will pay off again later on.
Consistency.
Nothing to say about that?
I mean, you said it all, babe. I mean, you're spot on.
And I think that's all we're going to say about that.
I think so.
And number 1.
And
to
the
me,
main one.
The most important, and this is something that I would argue maybe 92% of artists
That's a lot.
are lacking. And
Ooh, calling you out.
have good music.
Ugh.
There's a lot of artists out there. I'm gonna be a jerk.
Okay.
Have good music. If you don't have good music, how do you expect for anything to happen?
Talent.
Some people can gradually become more and more.
Better.
Some are just naturals at it. They all take work. A lot of artists surround themselves with like yes men.
Hype men.
Right? Yeah. People that sit there and like, yeah, it's amazing. What you're doing is great. You need to go out and find people that are going to be honest with you and
That
give
sucks.
you a true opinion. And instead of getting offensive or, defensive, listen to what people have to say and take that and run with it. You take it with a grain of salt. When I was younger, I would send all my music to record labels all the time. And maybe out of like 100 submissions, I would get like 8 replies. And out of those 8 replies, maybe 4 of them would tell me something, a critique. I could have easily gotten upset and said, screw you. But instead, I took it to heart.
For example, me as a musician, I cannot take criticism, especially from my producer. Where do you get off telling me what I need to do? Am I right? Yeah.
One of the biggest or the most common things that I see is having somebody that doesn't know how to sing very well. And that's no offense to anyone. It's just
None
very
taken.
common. You'll find really good bands that have lousy singers. There's this Instagram that I follow called Catatonic Youths. Catatonic Youths, I think that's what it is. Check it out. This is a good example of what I mean. I started off in really crappy bands and I've done a lot of music that a lot of people probably don't like, and that's fine, and I get it. I've done things that for myself are good, but there's a lot of artists out there that are just terrible, and
Well, we're going back to taking criticism, and I can't take it, and I feel like this is very personal. I feel like this whole video was an attack towards me. Is that why I was invited? So here, like, you need to.
if you want to get better, take music lessons, find a music producer that's going to help you sound better. Everybody starts off sounding terrible. Probably 99.9% of us start off sounding terrible. I listen to stuff that I did 10 years ago and I cringe.
You listened to stuff you did a week ago, and you cringe.
Absolutely. I am my own worst critic. So hopefully somebody found this video to be somewhat enlightening, at least even if there was one tip that you were like, that's a good tip.
That's me.
Then I did my job. These are opinions that I have developed over the course of my career in music, and things that when I look back and in hindsight, I'm like, if I would have done this, things probably would have been a little bit better.
If I knew then what I know now.
Yes. So please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share all that good stuff. Listen to our podcast
And when am I going to be invited to those?
soon. Thank you all so much for watching. You will see us next time.
Or maybe not us, because I hardly ever get invited.
Bye.
Adios.